Hey folks, it's John P. and thanks for joining me. I'm going to give you a little tour today of the Texas Metalworks factory. We're here on the weekend when everything is shut down and quiet because the machines are usually pretty loud and there's a lot going on. So come on and let me give you a sneak peek of how we make the cheese. Okay, we're coming into the shop. It's a pretty good sized building. We've got about 18,000 square feet. It's interesting because when we moved in here, we thought we had all kinds of room and then we quickly outgrew it. So we're getting ready to add on. We're gonna basically double in size. We've got a plot of land beside us, so we'll be putting a new building up there. But in the meantime, we're making do with what we've got. So one of the interesting things that you would not be used to seeing in a metalworking type of facility is right here behind us. It's a studio, it's a mini studio. And the reason why is because, of course, we sell a lot of our products online and we need to be able to take photos and videos and things of that nature. So here you go. But the real juicy stuff is over here, starting with my favorite thing in the shop, our big laser. This laser, if you want to take a peek inside, it's at rest at the moment, but when this thing gets going, it will move super fast. You're looking at one of the most powerful lasers in the world, actually. This is a 22 kilowatt laser. It'll cut up to at least 2-inch thick steel all day, every day. We don't tend to go that thick because we're not building ships or anything, but it's nice because since it can do such thick material, it means that when it's cutting thinner material, it can go much faster. And right here is an example of one of the things that it would be cutting for us. This is one of our fabrication tables. We sell a lot of these tables. It's one of our most popular lines of products, and you can see why we need such a fast laser. All the steel here is perforated with holes all over it. So every time we cut a plate, we cut thousands of little circles in it, and having all that power allows the machine to really get ripping. As we come over here, you'll see a totally different kind of laser. This one is long and skinny. This is a tube cutting laser. So what happens is there is a chuck down at the end of the laser and there is another chuck up at the front of the laser. And I'll open this door so we can take a little peek at what's going on behind the scenes. You'll see there are 4 clamps. Right now they're all in an open position, but we would feed a tube through there and those clamps will grab a hold of it and the laser head will shoot a laser beam down while the machine is spinning around, moving forward and backward. The laser head, it's crazy. So we use this for cutting all of the tubing that we have, and we keep a huge rack of tubing here. It'll cut anything in the stack. And it will allow us to do things like add holes and slots and tabs and things like that to the tubing. Over here, we can actually see the back of our big laser. This is actually a 2-table machine. So it's got 1 table in the back. This is called the exchange table, and then 1 table inside. It allows us to be loading and unloading material at the back while the machine is still cutting. This is so we can keep it in continuous operation. Now you might wonder, how do you load these sheets of material over there? For example, this is a 1/4-inch thick plate and it's 6 foot by 12 foot. This thing weighs about 600 or 700 pounds. Well, we use this fancy vacuum lifter and we use our overhead crane. So we can put a stack of material here and we bring the vacuum lifter down, it grabs the material, we move it over there, and then we drop it and repeat all day long. You can see over here, we've got a few stacks of material. At any given time, we probably have hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of material here on the site. We get them like this. They're received typically in bundles. They're wrapped in 5,000 pound increments, and we do that because you don't want them to rust. So they're oiled and then wrapped, and it'll let them have a long shelf life, even though we go through them really quickly. Over in this area, this is kind of our miscellaneous machine area. I think our #1 machine over here is our beautiful servo press brake. This is a great machine, very accurate, very quiet for what it is. Normally, people use press brakes for bending metal, and the press brakes are operated by hydraulic rams. And the hydraulics, they require a lot of fluid, they require a lot of maintenance. This has none of that. This has two huge electric motors, and it actually uses a serpentine belt that's the same that they use for lifting elevators. And it uses that to bring those jaws crushing down and bend things. We've also got a little baby press brake here, although to be honest, we're going to be getting rid of this one and we're going to be replacing it with an even bigger one of those. Shh. We've got an iron worker. This is my most favorite tool in the shop. It's crazy, it's stupid, I mean, literally, it's not a smart machine. These other machines, we do designs in the computers in the office and we come out here and load up the programs. This one can't do any of that. This thing just chomps through metal. You can stick 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, I don't care what you stick in this thing. When you step on the pedal, it will chomp it, it will bend it, it'll do anything. It's crazy. So that's why I like it. Crushing things is fun. We also have this huge industrial metal sander. So what we can do is cut large things on the laser over there and then stick the whole thing through this machine, and in one pass it will take off any little burrs or remaining residual from the material. So these are super fun in action and they save us a huge amount of time. This isn't one of the brand that's called it, but these are typically referred to as time savers. It's kind of like the Kleenex of the sanding world, the time saver. Come on over here, let's take a look at the place where we do all the fabrication. So in this area, we typically have a bunch of guys over here welding and fixturing and fabricating things. In fact, you can see there's something on the table right now. This is going to be a material storage rack. So you can imagine that on the ground with wheels and plates of material standing in it. But it's sitting on one of our milled tabletops. So we have a couple of these and we're adding more. These tabletops are extremely flat. They're extremely expensive. And we've gone through the trouble of making sure that when we place them here, we really leveled them up properly so that they are indeed extremely flat. Once we got them leveled, you can notice we actually bolted plates to the ground and then we welded the foot to the plate. The reason why is after you go to all the trouble of leveling it up, you don't want to bump it and then put it out of level. So we just really secured it to the ground. So that's one of the secrets of how when we're building our tables, we get them so flat, because we build them on those tables, which are a known reference surface. We've got our shipping and receiving area. Products that are manufactured move over to this side of the house where they'll get palletized and they'll get wrapped and they'll get labeled, and then they'll move over to the shipping area and out the door on their way to you. In this area, we've got a couple of other machines. We don't have them sitting out in the open because they're a little bit more sensitive to dust. One of these is a big CO2 laser. We'd use that for cutting or engraving things, softer materials like acrylic and wood. We also have another machine over here that's used for cutting gaskets. It has a little reciprocating blade. These are all CNC machines, but all different kinds. So if we needed to cut a rubber gasket to fit between a couple of parts, we can do it over there on that machine. Now, our back wall here is loaded with tables, as you can see. Most of the folks in the industry who are selling competitive products tend to have really long lead times, and that's something that we try and struggle to not have happen by maintaining so much material and keeping the laser running all the time. Right now, you can see we've got quite an inventory of products, so if you order, generally we get it shipped out within a week or so. But you know, we're constantly trying to keep up with the production as well. So it depends on the time of year and how much stock we have in place, but you know, we're doing our best. Over here, we've got one more secret weapon in our arsenal that most metalworking type shops would not have. This is actually a router. You tend to think of these as being used for wood projects. This is a big boy router. It's got a 12 horsepower spindle. It's got an 8 tool auto changer. The little tools spin at like 18,000 RPMs, and this will absolutely chew through wood, plastic, aluminum, anything. So we like having this one because it allows us to do multimedia type things. Let's say we wanted to do a dining table. Well, we could fabricate the legs out of tubing and laser cut parts, and then we could fabricate the top on the router here. And so that's always fun. We like to have interesting projects like that. Also, we're going to be pretty soon launching a new line of products that are a kind of DIY, build it yourself at home line. So it'll be nice because we can pre-cut and prepare all kinds of metal stuff, but we can also mix it in with woods and acrylics. And then you guys can get a package and unbox it, put it together, and have something really cool. So that's it. We could walk around the outside of the building, but you know, it's just open space out there and there's nothing really sexy. If you want to come down and visit us, we're happy to give you the tour in person, and you'll get to see the shop when it's in full-blown, you know, glory. So thanks for sticking with me through this little walking tour, and we'll see you later on.